Just before we finish the demonstration, we'll give you a quick overview of some of the other transactions that you might need to enter. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay off one of the customer invoices and also one of the supplier invoices. Let's start with customers, and then from the toolbar at the top we'll click customer receipt. Now just before we do that, this option is also available within bank accounts, and then within the bank accounts toolbar at the top you would also have a customer receipts option, but we're going to do it from within the customers ledger. We'll use the default bank account, which is bank account 1200. So that's the account that the money is going to be showed being paid into. And then from the account drop down, we'll choose the Chelsea Hotel, which is the account that we set up at the beginning of the demonstration. This then lists any outstanding transactions on the account. Before we actually pay those transactions, we need to change the date to the date of the actual receipt. In this example, we'll say the 5th of April. You then have the option of entering an amount that you've actually received. You don't have to do this, as this will be calculated as you saw transactions being paid. In our example, we'll just leave it set to 0 and we'll enter a reference. Just to help identify the transaction, we'll key in a check number. Then all we have to do is show the transactions that have been paid off by the customer. So if you click into the receipt column, and we need to enter the amount that is being received for that transaction. Now we can either type it in or we can click Pay in Full at the top. So as we're receiving the full amount for this invoice, we'll just use the button at the top, so we'll click Pay in Full, and we'll repeat that for the second item as well. So both items are being paid by the one check. The customer hasn't paid the third item, so we'll just leave that one set to 0. So they've paid us £2,750 in total. You'll see the amount in the top box, and we can just save it. That's it done. We could enter additional customer receipts if we want to. In this case, we're just going to click Close. If we highlight the Chelsea Hotel customer account, and then from the toolbar at the top click Activity, we can then view a list of all of the transactions posted against the customer's account. Let's just click Close, and we'll quickly show you how you pay off a supplier invoice. So we'll start by going into Suppliers, and from the toolbar at the top we click Supplier Payment. The Supplier Payment option can also be accessed by going into the Bank Accounts option from the navigation bar down the left. To complete the Supplier Payment, again, just make sure we've got the right bank account selected, so 1200, that's the account we're going to be paying the money out of. And then we need to choose the payee. So from the drop down, we can choose the supplier that we want to make the payment to. So in this example, American Wine Importers. Similar to the customer receipts window, the outstanding transactions for the supplier that we selected appear. We'll quickly specify the date of the payment. So in this example, we'll choose the 7th of April. Enter a reference number in the check number box. Now this doesn't have to be a check number. It could be, if it's a card payment for instance, you might just type card, or it could be backs, or any other reference you want to enter there. In this case we have keyed in a check number, and then we can enter an amount that we're actually paying the supplier. Now just like with customer receipts, we don't have to enter that amount at this stage. We can just let it calculate automatically as we flag the transactions as being paid. So we'll just leave that set to 0, and then we'll tab down to the payment column, and we can start entering the payment values against the individual items. Now in this case we could just click Pay in Full if we're paying this particular item in full. However, I'm just going to type the value in. We'll ignore the discount column, but do remember, if you want more information about any of the other options that you see on the screen, just press F1 to access the online help files. For the second item, we're just going to part pay it. So we'll literally just key in the value that we are paying off against that particular item. We've now got a value in the check amount box at the top of £1,000, and we're ready to save the transaction. So we'll click Save at the bottom, and then click Close, and that takes us back to the suppliers list, and you can see the reduced outstanding balance against the supplier. Just before we end the demonstration, we'll quickly look at the bank accounts window. And here you'll see on the navigation bar there's options for supplier payments, customer receipts, and also bank payments and bank receipts where there's no supplier or customer involved.